The air throbbed with trumpets, laughter, and flashing cameras as red, white, and blue banners fluttered high above Constitution Avenue. It was meant to be a celebration, Donald Trump's grand 79th birthday parade. Crowds chanted his name with fervor, golden balloons shaped like a massive 79 floated behind the stage, and reporters elbowed each other for the perfect angle. But then, the mood shifted. A black SUV rolled up slowly, its presence cutting through the chaos like a blade. Out stepped Captain Ibrahim Traoré, sharp in a deep olive military uniform, his face unreadable. Though invited as a diplomatic guest, few believed he'd actually come, and none were prepared for what was about to unfold. As Trump stepped forward with a showman's grin and extended hand, Traoré didn't shake it. Instead, he turned, looked deep into the crowd, then straight into a camera lens and said, "Before I shake any hand, I must speak a truth the world has forgotten." The parade froze. Reporters held their breath. Even the breeze seemed to stall. Trump's smile twitched. Something monumental was beginning. The music stopped mid-bar. Confetti guns misfired. Slowly, Traoré stepped up to the microphone, his voice calm but thunderous. "I stand here not as a politician," he said, "but as the son of a woman once told her pain didn't matter. I come from a land where children bury their parents by age 10 while the world sends thoughts, but no justice." The audience stiffened. A Trump aide moved, but Trump, for reasons unknown, raised a hand, signaling silence. Traoré continued, "Today, I say this, African dignity is not a gift we beg for. It is our birthright. No parade, no power, no illusion of greatness can erase our truth." Murmurs rose. Some looked away. Some stared in disbelief. And then, with solemnity, he pulled a small, creased photo from his jacket and raised it to the cameras. Gasps erupted. The image showed a wrinkled, dark-skinned woman kneeling in dirt, weeping. "She was my mother," Traoré said, his voice trembling for the first time. This photo was taken after she lost her only sister, because her village had no doctor, no clean water, no help. His eyes met Trump's, then scanned the sea of supporters. She once believed America could change the world, until she realized America only changes what benefits America. The crowd rippled, some booed, some clapped, cameras flailed, zoomed, captured. But Traoré stood firm. "I'm not here to insult you," he said. "I'm here to ask, why must our dignity always be the cost of your comfort?" Trump's face stiffened, his hand dropped. Even he seemed rattled. In the crowd, a woman began to cry, not for politics, but for the raw, unfiltered truth echoing from the stage. This wasn't a birthday parade anymore. It was a reckoning. As Traoré gently folded the old photo and tucked it back into his jacket, silence fell over the grounds. No drums, no music, just the flutter of birds overhead and the breathless quiet of people no longer sure what they were witnessing. And then, something unexpected. A white-haired woman in the front row, wearing a red "Make America Great Again" cap, slowly stood. She didn't clap. She didn't protest. She looked at Traoré and whispered, "I'm sorry, we never knew." A single tear rolled down her cheek. CNN's camera caught it. The image went viral in minutes. Trump stood still, confusion clouding his expression, his usual fire strangely absent. He took a half-step back. Traoré didn't move. "My mission today," he said gently, "is not to humiliate anyone. It's to remind the world. Silence has a cost. And that cost was my mother." Somewhere in the back, a child whispered, "Mom, why is everyone so sad?" But the mother had no words. Because this was no longer a party. It had become a funeral for ignorance. And Traoré, the quiet preacher, was mourning every forgotten village with every breath he took. But the storm hadn't even started yet. As Captain Traoré stepped back from the microphone, something stirred behind the stage. Secret Service agents leaned into their earpieces. Two of them edged subtly closer to Trump. Something was wrong. Traoré noticed. But he didn't blink. His hand rested calmly on the podium as he scanned the sea of lenses aimed at him and said, "There are truths people have tried to bury, but today I dig one up." From his jacket, he pulled a letter, old, frayed at the edges, stained by time. He raised it high, letting the cameras zoom in. "This," he said, "was written by a U.S. oil company, to a West African dictator. It promised weapons in exchange for silence. Trump's face twitched. That dictator, Traoré continued, murdered over 30,000 of his own people. Gasps. Someone in the crowd fainted. A Secret Service agent shifted again, now directly between Trump and Traoré. One of those murdered, Traoré said quietly, was my cousin. A heavy hush fell, followed by murmurs. Why is no one stopping him? Someone whispered. But no one moved. Because deep down, they knew. The truth, once spoken, is more dangerous than any bullet. And Traoré had just fired a cannon. Melania Trump sat beside her husband on the elevated platform, pristine, elegant, unreadable, until now. As Traoré held the letter, her expression changed. Confusion, then concern, then something unguarded. Something human. She leaned toward Donald and whispered something. He didn't respond. He simply stared forward, jaw clenched. The cameras caught it, the flicker in her eyes. A flicker of recognition. Had she seen this letter before? Traoré noticed. Their eyes met, not with rage, but with something deeper, unspoken understanding. Some people on this stage, he said slowly, have seen the truth, but were forced to live in silence. Melania looked away. The crowd began to stir, louder now. My mother died nameless, Traoré continued. But today, her story is spoken on American soil. Her voice now echoes between your skyscrapers. The silence that followed was unbearable. A child in the crowd began to cry. An elderly man removed his Trump 2024 button and quietly slipped it into his pocket. The truth had no accent, no border, no side. And somehow, with nothing but words, Captain Traoré had done what no weapon ever could. He had made America cry. And he wasn't done. His voice softened now, nearly a whisper. A lullaby, but laced with thorns. Before I was a soldier, he said, I was a brother. He paused. I had a little brother, named Adu. The name hung in the summer air like a ghost. He died, in a river, trying to fetch water for our mother. He was only 9. A collective gasp. A woman in the crowd clutched her chest. That river was poisoned by foreign mining waste, left by the same company that sponsored a political campaign in this country just 2 years ago. He didn't name the company. He didn't have to. Every journalist in the crowd already knew. They made billions, Traoré whispered. My brother's funeral cost $12. We buried him in the same shirt he wore to school. Silence. Not even the cameras dared click. Traoré reached into his pocket again, this time pulling out a small, folded white cloth. Torn. Fragile. He held it up for all to see. A piece of his brother's school shirt. It fluttered softly in the breeze. This isn't politics, he said. This is pain. Pain you never had to see. Trump shifted in his seat, visibly shaken now. Even the Secret Service agents didn't move. Their stoicism cracked. Somewhere near the back, a woman sobbed, openly, loudly. No one shushed her. America was listening now. And for the first time, it couldn't look away. As Traoré stood with that piece of cloth in his hand, something strange happened. Above the stage, the massive Trump 79 birthday banner began to flutter violently in the rising wind. Then, with a sharp snap, one of the ropes broke. Half the banner dropped down awkwardly, folding over itself. From the crowd's angle, only one word remained visible. Truth. It was coincidence. But it felt like fate. The crowd gasped. Phones flew into the air, capturing the moment. Social media exploded. Even conservative news anchors fumbled for words. Traoré turned slowly, looked up at the fallen banner, then back to Trump. I didn't come here to ruin your birthday, Mr. Trump, he said gently. But maybe, the truth chose this day for a reason. Trump said nothing. He couldn't. A military marching band had been scheduled to perform at that very moment. The conductor raised his baton, then quietly lowered it. Children sat on their parents' shoulders, eyes wide with wonder and confusion. Even Trump's loudest supporters, the ones who had chanted minutes ago, were now silent. Hands clasped, eyes searching, unsure what to feel. Captain Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward once more. His voice cut through the stillness. "If you can hear me," he said to the world, "remember my brother's name." For nearly 20 minutes, Trump had stood motionless, eyes fixed, jaw clenched. But now, as Traoré stepped back and the wind fell still, Trump took a step forward. Just one. The crowd froze. He cleared his throat. And then he spoke, not loudly, not angrily, but with a kind of hesitant weight that surprised everyone. That alone was powerful. He looked to his team, then to Melania, and said, "I didn't know about his brother. I didn't know about that letter. Maybe I should have." A few in the crowd began to clap. Others just stared, stunned. Trump turned toward Traoré. "You came here and told the truth. And even if I don't agree with everything you said, maybe the world needs more of that." Gasps rippled across the audience. It wasn't surrender. It wasn't an apology. But it was the closest thing to humility Donald Trump had ever shown. And the world saw it. Traoré gave a single nod. No smile. Just quiet dignity. "Truth," he said softly, "isn't meant to be agreed with. It's meant to be faced." CNN's breaking banner flashed across screens. Traoré breaks silence. Trump responds with unexpected words. But the real shift didn't happen on television. It happened inside the millions watching, many now quietly crying. Traoré stepped forward again. His eyes didn't flinch. "There's a village in northern Burkina Faso," he said. "It's called Toub." He let the name hang in the air. "It's no longer on any map. No longer in any database. Because last year, foreign-backed mercenaries raided it, hunting lithium beneath the soil. They burned the homes. They shot the families. And when they left, only ashes remained. You could hear sniffles, even among camera crews. My uncle," Traoré continued, was a schoolteacher there. He taught beneath a tree, using a broken chalkboard. His last message, on a cracked phone, said, "They are coming. Protect the children." Traoré pulled out a laminated photo. It showed a charred classroom, a pair of tiny sandals, a torn math book beside them. No news channel covered it. No nation condemned it. "But I remember." Trump looked down. His staff whispered nervously behind him, shaken. In the crowd, a black child sitting on his father's shoulders wiped his eyes. Traoré's voice rose with purpose. "We speak of global unity. But what kind of unity lets children die while the world signs mineral deals over their bones?" He turned, looked directly into the camera. Toub lived. Toub mattered. Say its name. And online, tens of thousands did. A whisper turned into a wave. Toub. 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 A breeze passed through the parade ground. Traoré stepped off the stage and walked toward the front row. A little American boy was there, waving a small paper flag. He looked no older than 6. Traoré knelt beside him. "What's your name?" "Liam," the boy replied. "That flag, did your dad give it to you?" Liam looked down, hesitated. "No. My dad was a soldier. He died last year. My mom says he went to Africa, but he never came back." Silence gripped the crowd. Trump's face dropped. Melania covered her mouth. "Did they tell you why?" Traoré asked gently. "No. They just said he died serving freedom." Traoré placed a hand on the boy's shoulder and stood. Sometimes, both sides lose fathers. And sometimes, both sides are just used. The boy's mother wept quietly as Liam kept waving his flag, now damp from his fingers. That image, the African soldier beside the American child, both victims of invisible wars, exploded across the internet. This wasn't just politics anymore. This was a wound, shared. Raw. Real. Just as Traoré turned back toward the stage, CNN's live broadcast abruptly cut to commercial. Social media erupted. Why cut now? What are they hiding? Let him speak. But where CNN backed away, TikTok lit up. Dozens had recorded the moment. Clips spread like wildfire. Hashtag soared. Hashtag TRTruth. Hashtag Parade of Truth. Hashtag TroorSpeaks. A young American veteran posted his reaction, tears rolling down his cheeks. "I served in Niger. Everything this man is saying, we saw it. We were told to stay quiet." Back at the parade, Traoré returned to the mic, unmoved. "The truth doesn't need television," he said. "It just needs hearts." Then, with thunder in his voice, "You cannot silence a storm once it begins to rain." Backstage, a White House aide screamed into a headset, "We're losing control of the narrative." But it was already too late. The truth had slipped past every gate. It was in phones, on subways, in living rooms. And the world was watching, crying, reposting, waking up. What began as a birthday celebration had turned into a funeral for lies. And Ibrahim Traoré, he wasn't done. He was just lighting the next match.